Surprise! It's Two Chicks, One Book Plug Tuesday.
We're dropping in early to shine a little spotlight on a book you should absolutely know about.
Today we're giving some well-deserved love to an author who deserves a spot on your shelf.
You know the drill. Fangirling, chaos, and probably a fictional crush or two.
Let's get plot twisty! Hey everyone, and welcome back to Two Chicks and a Plot Twist.
This episode is extra exciting because we're covering our book plug of the week, and today we're talking about Scarlet Wave by J.D. Harper.
We'll be giving you a taste of what this book is about and why it's worth picking up.
Be sure to stick around because at the end of this episode, we actually get to hear directly from the author himself.
All right, let's get into it. Scarlet Wave by J.D. Harper. And it's so exciting because we are recording this ahead of time, but by the time this episode releases, today is the book's publishing date, November 11th. So Scarlet Wave is out there for the world to read. So Scarlet Wave is book 3 in the Romantasy Serenade series. So book 3 and so forth, there's 4 out. And so what's really cool about this one is that this one is an interconnected duet. So the one that we're talking about, Scarlet Wave, focuses on the female perspective. And the other one is Golden Shores. And this one focuses on a male's perspective, male's point of view. So it's really cool. So you could probably read them you can read them one at a time, or you could dual read them both just to get both of their point of views while you're reading. So that's super cool. I think that's really unique when authors do that.
No, that's so awesome. I've yet to read a book like that. So
Me either.
I am really pumped for this. About the author, J.D. Harper is a romance novelist and travel advisor who believes the best stories begin with a little adventure, whether imagined or lived. As a former military photojournalist, J.D. discovered the power of storytelling by capturing real moments and sharing them through words. Today, he writes emotionally rich contemporary romances set at sea, inspired by his own experience of meeting his wife on a cruise. His debut companion novels, Emerald Tide and Sapphire Seas, launched the Romantasy Serenade series. These books blend love, humor, and personal growth aboard a luxury ship. And when he is not writing, JD helps others plan unforgettable journeys of their own. He has taken more than 20 cruises, including many as a solo traveler, and he is a frequent visitor to Disney and Universal parks around the world. That sounds amazing. He brings first-hand experience and genuine enthusiasm to every itinerary. Whether you are a first-time cruiser, an independent explorer, or a theme park lover, JD creates personalized travel plans with the heart of a storyteller. He lives in Central Florida with his wife and their 2 children, and for JD, the most meaningful journeys begin with self-discovery and a willingness to follow where the tide may lead. So we got an author and a whole travel advisor here. So Not only do you need to pick up this book, you need to book with him on your next trip and take the books with you. Read them on vacation. This is amazing. What an amazing. I love this setup.
Next time, JD, you have a trip plan. Just bring Michaela and I with you. We'll come along, pack us with you.
We'll record the whole trip for you. Like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is to do. This is not to do. We love this. So fun.
He seems so fun. So a little bit about JD's book. So like I said before, Scarlet Wave and Golden Shores is the latest duet from J.D. Harper, exploring an interconnected love story told from 2 sides of the same heart. Oh, it's so cute. Yeah. We have Scarlett, who is a driven Miami accountant who boards a singles cruise, expecting nothing more than sunshine and distraction. Jerry Duncan is a soldier and a single father. Ooh. Who finally takes a much-needed break after years of putting everyone else first. When their worlds collide aboard the Elysian Serenade, they discover that healing sometimes arrives in the form of laughter, late-night conversations, and the quiet safety of being truly seen. Each novel stands on its own, offering a complete story through one's character's eyes, yet together they reveal the deeper layers of what it means to fall in love while rebuilding your sense of self. Scarlett's journey is about letting go of control long enough to rediscover joy. Jerry's is about learning that strength can also mean softness and that vulnerability is its own kind of courage. Both stories celebrate found family, second chances, and the unexpected way love can anchor two people who thought they were adrift. Scarlet Wave and Golden Shores are a part of the Romantasy Serenade series, where every voyage is an invitation to believe in connection, healing, and the kind of love that feels like coming home to the sea.
Oh,
Oh
what a
my gosh.
feel good romance story here. I love those. I love them. I want
Yeah.
them.
JD,
I
we
want to go
get
on a
what you're
cruise.
putting down. I know, I'm like, should we go on a
Yeah.
cruise?
I know. Take the books with us. Like,
I
how
know.
amazing! It's the perfect setting. It's amazing. Like the stars are aligning. Just read the
I
books on a
know.
cruise ship. Oh my god, all your dreams will come true. And the cover.
The covers are so
fan.
cool. Yeah.
Yes, I am a fan. I like it. I like characters on covers. I do it with my own
Yeah.
books, right? So I am a fan. So and then we also are going to go ahead and read a few sample pages just to give you guys a little taste. You might be like, oh, I've been missing this my whole life. Okay. So we have the prologue here, and we're going to go ahead and dive into a few of these pages. Prologue. Scarlett claimed her usual seat at the edge of the aquarium-like meeting room, pen hovering for show above an untouched notebook. She already knew the rhythm. Performative check-ins, recycled buzzwords, and Eric Smith's guided pep rally, delivered with all the earnestness of a man who thought charisma was the same as leadership. He was mid-stance now, sleeves rolled in a move that suggested effort. Maybe he'd broken a sweat arguing with a pie chart. His voice rang out with that smooth, overconfident cadence she'd come to recognize as his version of sincerity. Before we close out, Eric said, I've got something special. A little surprise. In fact, the person I'm talking about doesn't even know this is coming. That caught her attention. Scarlett's fingers flexed around her pen. Her gaze flicked up from her closed notebook, careful not to move too fast. Hope didn't look good on her. It clashed with reality. The room collectively leaned in. So did she, against her better judgment. I want to take a second to recognize someone who's been quietly instrumental. She's been holding things together, stepping up on tough accounts, and consistently delivering real results. Scarlett's throat tightened. She sat just a touch straighter, legs crossed at the ankle, expression composed, but suddenly very aware of every inch of her posture. He didn't mean her. He never meant her. And yet, he could. Right? She's brought fresh energy, strong instincts, and a real commitment to team culture. Scarlett blinked once. Her pulse tapped gently at her collarbone. Could be me, but probably not. Her inner voice was already shifting gears, rehearsing a gracious smile, mentally rerouting herself toward another quiet disappointment. Still, just for a second, she let herself believe. Eric's grin widened as he gestured towards the head of the table. That's why we're thrilled to announce Maya's promotion to Associate Director of Client Strategy. Applause erupted. Someone let out a too loud whoop that bounced off the glass walls, as if enthusiasm at volume equaled sincerity. Scarlett smiled, automatically. Two polite claps, evenly spaced, just enough to register as supportive, not enough to betray the hollow pit forming beneath her ribs. Of course it was Maya. Maya, who color-coded her social calendar but missed half her deadlines, who dazzled clients with buzzwords and big energy, then left the back-end details in disarray. Details Scarlett always cleaned up, who had been here 2 years and somehow became indispensable by simply being impossible to ignore. Scarlett's pen hadn't moved. Her notebook remained blank, but her stomach, that had dropped 3 floors and landed somewhere near her knees. She wasn't surprised, not really, but it still landed with that particular sting reserved for the not-quite-unexpected. Like checking the mailbox for a letter you know isn't coming, but hoping maybe this time would be different. It wasn't the lack of praise that got her. Scarlett didn't care for the spotlight. She'd spent most of her career excelling just outside its edge. It was the principle, the track record, the pattern. She'd built a life so tightly wound around achievement, there was no room for the ache she refused to name. Better to be irreplaceable than to be cracked open. This was the 3rd time she'd been passed over in 18 months, each time for someone newer, louder, and more performative. as if the work itself didn't matter unless it came wrapped in glitter. And now we have a few reviews. So these readers loved the book, and we are so excited to share what they had to say. So this first review goes, reading Scarlet Wave by J.D. Harbour felt like being swept out to sea in the best possible way. From the first page, I connected with Scarlett Bellari. She's smart, capable, and driven to the point of exhaustion, the kind of woman who keeps everyone else afloat but never lets herself come up for air. When she's passed over for yet another promotion and reluctantly agrees to a singles cruise, thanks to her meddling best friend and sister, I thought I knew where the story was going. Spoiler, I didn't. What unfolds is a beautifully heartfelt journey about rediscovering yourself when your perfectly curated life suddenly feels empty. Scarlett's voice felt so raw and real, and her need for control, her fear of slowing down, her aching desire to matter to someone not because of what she does, but simply because of who she is. And then there's Jerry Duncan, a quiet, steady soldier and single father who sees right through Scarlett's polished armor. The chemistry between them isn't fireworks, it's something deeper and steadier, like a tide pulling her toward the life she didn't know she needed. Their connection is tender, grown up, and grounded in vulnerability and trust. By the end, I was completely invested, not just in Scarlett's love story, but in her becoming. J.D. Harbour captures that complicated blend of fear, hope, and courage that comes with letting go of who you thought you had to be.
That was so sweet. Oh my goodness. Great review. Yeah.
Worth talking about and worth discussing, which makes it 5 stars, and you get these kind of reviews. So
of
amazing.
course. And then we have our second review, a little shorter. This one goes, wow, this book had me in tears by the end of it. I can't wait to read the next book and the other POV to this story. I have enjoyed every book so far in this series. So sweet.
And it's just so nice that people are already loving it. So it's just such a feel-good story. Again, this will be releasing today, the day this episode drops, which is today. It's out now. Go check it out. And we are very, very excited that we got to ask JD a few questions, and he sent us back a few answers. So we're going to go ahead and dive into those, and we're going to see what all the excitement and buzz is about. Here we go. What inspired you to write your book? Was there a specific moment or personal story that sparked the idea?
What inspired me to write these stories? Ultimately, these stories are a love letter to my own wife. Years ago, I went on a cruise looking for a brief escape, and I wound up meeting the woman who would one day become my wife. Essentially, these stories are a creative retelling of our journey. The stories themselves are fiction. There are several memorable scenes inspired by true life events. My goal in writing Scarlet Wave and Golden Shores was to bottle that magic, that feeling of delightful surprise that arrives when you least expect something wonderful in life.
How would you describe the heart of your book to someone who's never read it?
Well, these stories focus on healing, and healing within chaos. Golden Shores and Scarlet Wave features two people and a few unfiltered friends as they attempt to make sense of life, love, and their personal journeys while being stuck together on a cruise. Grief and personal growth are present, but so is tequila, karaoke, and a surplus of unsolicited advice from newly made friends who become family. It's found family through laughter, love, and questionable decisions, but the reality is that healing isn't always a solitary journey. It can be found within the noise, with the help of those who do not allow you to sink.
What's a theme in your book that you hope readers really feel or walk away thinking about?
I believe the main point of both narratives is that love does not ask you to overlook any emotional scars, but it facilitates a transformative perspective on them. I once believed that moving on or shutting out the past was the essence of healing, but in writing Scarlet Wave and Golden Shores, I realize it's more about learning to carry those scars with pride. This love is like kintsugi, the art of using gold to repair what's broken. And those golden scars making the whole stronger and more beautiful. The core of these narratives centers on the courage to love again, fueled by the scars rather than hindered by them.
What makes your book stand out from others in your genre?
So what really sets these stories apart is the duet format. Scarlet Wave and Golden Shores tell the same love story, but from two completely different perspectives. When I was younger, I used to talk to my grandparents about how they met. My grandpa would say he was a young stud, and Grandma swooned the moment she saw him. And Grandma would just laugh and call him a bumbling buffoon. It was the same story, just different viewpoints. That's what this duet captures. How two people can live the same moments, feel the same love, but remember and interpret it through entirely different hearts. When you read both books, you get to experience that full layered story. The humor, the heart, and the truth that maybe sits somewhere in between.
Is there a particular scene or moment in your book that you're most proud of? What makes it special to you?
Yes, there is one scene that still gets me emotional. Within this particular scene, Jerry and Scarlett have just finished a very intense and emotional talk. And in the story, it feels like everything could just suddenly go wrong. Jerry's first reaction is to withdraw, to shield himself from the moment and protect himself before she can do any harm to him. Scarlett, on the other hand, doesn't allow him to disappear behind that armor. She stays, she fights, she does not allow him to retreat. This intersection of both vulnerability and strength is an incredibly significant event for both of these characters. It reflects my own true understanding of love, that it's not an ideal state, but two people who choose to remain together, choose to fight for each other, even in challenging times.
Which character or scene was the hardest to write and why?
It was that same scene between Jerry and Scarlett where everything was about to unravel. It's such an emotional moment for these characters, for the story, and for me. There's fear, there's love, there's anger, there's heartbreak, and hope, all tangled up together. And I wanted to try to make sure that all of these emotions had their own space without overpowering one or the other. I probably rewrote that same scene dozens of times, trying to get it just right. During every editing cycle, during every reread, I'd find something else that I had noticed that the characters, or that I felt was missing from the character story. It was exhausting, but also incredibly rewarding, because once it all clicked, it felt real. Like I'd finally captured a fragile, honest place between breaking and holding on.
Who is your most misunderstood character, and what do you wish readers knew about them?
So I'm not sure if misunderstood is the best way to describe it, but I believe Mac is seriously underappreciated. He is more than just a funny sidekick or a jovial friend. He is Jerry's emotional bedrock. Mac is the one who keeps things steady when everything else starts to fall apart. He assists Jerry when necessary, provides a listening ear during Jerry's quiet moments, and injects humor when things become overwhelming. Honestly, without Mac, Jerry's story might not have ever happened. He's a friend who is always there, whether he is in the spotlight or not.
Did you base any characters, settings, or events on real life, or did it all come from your imagination?
Yes, I can confirm that Scarlett and Jerry are indeed based on my wife and I. It's our love story. It's how we met on board a cruise ship, how we continued to fall in love, and eventually form one family. There are characters in this story that are absolutely based on characters in our real life, and there are events that took place in the story that really happened. However, my wife has forbidden me from confirming or denying which of those events are indeed true life.
When can readers expect your next book? What can you tell us about it?
I am currently already working on the next story within the Romantic Sea Serenade series, and I'm very excited about it. If you're a fan of Titanic, you know, the love story part, not the crashing and death and destruction, then you're going to love what's coming next. It plays with the idea of what might happen if a modern-day Jack and Rose met again, but this time on a ship that doesn't sink. It's got that same epic romantic energy, but with the heart and humors readers have come to expect from my series. I'm aiming for sometime next year, but I don't have an exact timeline yet.
All right, guys. Well, that was our interview with J.D. Harbour. And before we go, let's talk about where you can purchase his books. And so we have Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Google Books, and more.
Yes, and you can follow JD on social media, and these links will also be below in the show notes, so check him out. His Instagram is at JD Harbour, and then TikTok at JD.Harbour, and his website is www.jdharbour.com.
All right, guys, and that wraps up our dive into Scarlet Wave by J.D. Harbour.
A huge thank you to JD for sharing this story with us, and we are just so grateful you trusted us to help introduce Scarlet Wave to new readers.
We also want to thank him for sending in those voice notes. It always adds such a special layer to episodes.
Yes, and if you haven't picked up Scarlet Wave yet, now is the perfect time. It's release day. Go get it. It's out now.
Thanks for listening to Chicks and a Plot Twist. We'll be back Thursday with another episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.